Welcome back to WT Bricks for another episode of Building Mandalore in Lego. Last few weeks we've been working on the MASSIVE Starfighter, and I've ordered a load of parts in for that from lego.com, so hopefully they'll be here very shortly. One part of the order has been dispatched, so I'm anticipating that arriving in the next few days, but the other is on the standard list, so that will take that a little bit longer. Also in that order are some parts for the prison cells just down here. So again, this is one part I want to work on as soon as the parts arrive. One other thing this week I have had in some of the June 1st releases. So we've got the Captain Rex Y-Wing. I just got that purely for the minifigure. I have got Captain Rex from my Venator set, but my Venator is in the UK at the moment, so it was a lot easier just to buy this set. No, don't mind having two of him. We've also got the Paz Vizsla Moff Gideon Battle and two of the Ambush on Mandalore Battle Packs. Now at the moment I have this area down here which is the Mines of Mandalore, and I wasn't going to be having Mando captured by the spider droid in this section just here. However, it's not really that exciting. There are some lights in there which aren't plugged in at the moment. However, the one thing I'm thinking might look better is over one side to have the ambush happening on the MOC, in this side just here, so I have a battle going on between the Commandos and the Mandalorians, and then over this side I could have the scene with the death of Paz Vizsla, and I think that might look a lot better than having the spider droid in there. And it's something that I think I could quite easily amend the build on here without disrupting anything up the top here. So it's going to take some creative building, but I think it is going to be well worthwhile doing so. I think it's going to look a lot more interesting with that. My plan for this week is I want to get a lot of the finishing touches done on the build. So I want to start on this side and just work my way across and get as far as I can with the parts I have available to me. And a fair bit of progress has been made here. The floor is all nicely tiled. I do need to find a 1x1 stud to go just here, and that's for a minifigure to stand on. And I have put a few jumper plates here and there, just again for the minifigures to be standing on. Now I've got some jumper plates here. Just need to work out what I'm going to be doing on top and on the front of each of those sections here. And again, on the front of the building, I need to work out what I'm going to be doing just there. Once I've tiled through that section, all it's a case of doing is putting the minifigures on here and any little standalone builds that I might do, whether that's crates or generators or anything like that. On the top here, these have all been tiled now, and I decided that I preferred the sand blue out of the options that I was previously looking at. I didn't think the dark blue glass or the green looked quite right on there. And all I need left to do now is build the trees, which will be going on the centre of each of those pillars just there. The next section I want to work on is this area just here. I want to have some steps going up to the next platform area just there. Need to put a wall of some description along that's going to hide all of that ugly filler brick. Now I have got these two buildings over the back, and they were originally built to go over there. However, I do feel they're a little bit too close to the landing platform at the bottom of the suspended building, and I don't think it looks quite right there. I think that just needs to be left nice and clear, or if I do have anything, it's very low. So I am considering bringing those two builds over and sticking them at the front of there. Then I'll just continue the wall along by the side of it. Now the good thing with those buildings are the back of them is a nice smooth wall. So it will go nicely along this edge here. And when you're looking from that side, it's not going to look ugly or out of place. So I'm going to bring those over, have a look, see how they look. And then if they do look okay, I'll just continue to build the wall along that section. And I'm loving the progress that we're making here today. I decided I would put a landing pad in on here, and this is for speeders to come along. I just need to put some inverted tiles on the bottom here to give it a nice smooth finish. And I went for a snot technique just so I could get this pattern in on the landing pad there, which is reminiscent of the Mandalorian visor that you see, and it is in some of the concept art and some of the episodes of the Clone Wars that you would have seen which featured Mandalore. Now I would like to put a speeder on there, however I'm going to need to make something custom. I have got a couple of the Mandalorian speeders, the one which you had the Darth Maul minifigure in. However, it's way too big. And when I started doing this build series, I did say that one thing I was going to try and steer away from doing was putting vehicles in here. And the reason being is, if you look at the MOC and you see a minifigure on there, the build looks absolutely massive. However, if you were to put a gunship on here or an ATTE, it will take up that space there, and all of a sudden it makes the MOC feel smaller. And that is one thing that I have noticed with some MOCs. As soon as you start putting the vehicles in there, it makes the MOC look out of proportion. It doesn't look to scale. And that's one thing I have tried to do with this build, is to make it look realistic. Like with these buildings, that building is big enough to have offices in there or control rooms, whatever else. In this building here, whether it's apartments, whether it is realistic, you could fit them in there if you want to put all the details in. So that's one thing I have tried to do, make the build look as realistic as possible. So if I do add vehicles, I want to make sure that they are not going to be making the MOC look smaller, out of scale, and whatever else on there. Now at the moment I've got my UCS TIE Fighter just resting at the top there, just because I need somewhere to put it, and the Mandalorian fighter is going to stand on top of that, and that is a big ship, and it is probably taller than the TIE Fighter. However, in the universe that is a big ship anyway, so I'm not that worried about it. It is built slightly smaller to scale, but the scale I built it actually works out perfectly for where it's going. So yeah, I've just got to decide on what I do with vehicles, adding them to it. I'd love to have an ATT in there, or a gunship crashed or something like that, but I'm just worried that it will won't look right scale wise. I'm going to put some more details on the landing pad, a couple of crates and some other control devices and things like that. But what I want to do first of all is just continue to smooth all this off and get it looking as tidy as possible. And just checking in one final time for this update, and we've got the snot technique on the floor here, and I put a couple of headlight bricks in there, and I'm going to put some trees in. There's a couple of snot bricks there as well, and they're just so I can place a couple of minifigures on there so they don't fall over. But I think having a couple of trees there, the colour from them will certainly bring this to life and just give it that much needed colour compared to all of the greys. Now, there is so much more I need to do with the details on here, like filling these parts in here. Got some headlight bricks and snot bricks on the side of the buildings, but the bottom section is looking so much better following the progress we've made this week. Once I put some generators down, some crates, a couple of vehicles on the landing platform there, is really going to transform the build. Now hopefully next week I'll get that entire section finished at the back there, and that's again going to transform the MOC, and I think will make it look so much better. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham or building Mandalore, if you could share the channel with them, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.